Hello and welcome to Gadget Joe, and if you're a larger person, you're not going to want to miss this video. So in today's video, for those that know your stuff, you'll have seen the name Akracing at the front of this box here. Now Akracing produce gaming chairs, and this is indeed a gaming chair, but it's something a little bit different because this is a gaming chair that's designed for those that are larger, whether it be taller, bigger, fatter like me. Then this is a gaming chair that's designed just for you. This is the Akracing Core SE Series Extra Wide chair. This is a gaming chair that features an all steel frame that is designed with a much larger seat pan and a much more solid construction, basically to cater for those up to £330. And this is a gaming chair that is designed for the larger folk. Now that doesn't just mean fat people like me. Obviously I'm quite short, but I'm also very fat, so a gaming chair like this is ideal for me, but it also opens up the potential for those that are really tall, those are really just big, muscular, just large in general. It doesn't matter. You're not really going to have any issues fitting in the gaming chair like this. And it's quite big news because most gaming chairs on the market are generally quite small because they are modelled off a bucket seat that you see in a racing car. And that's the whole aesthetic that they gain. And generally speaking, bucket seats in cars, if you've ever sat in a bucket seat in a car, you'll know that they are quite figure-hugging, they are quite slim and narrow, and they really sort of hold you in place, and gaming chairs are no different. They are designed to do exactly the same. Obviously, when you're doing gaming sessions, especially in games like racing games, you want a chair that really sort of holds you and hugs you into position. Now, if you're a larger person like me, now I'm currently about 270, 280 pounds. This is rated for up to £330. A lot of those smaller chairs just simply don't fit. I've sat in many chairs in my life, obviously everybody has, but I've sat in many gaming chairs in my life and I often struggle to fit in them properly. You'll often find that the bolsters on the seat pan tend to dig into your thigh, or just simply you can't get your ass into the seat. Not only that, is the back then hugs around and you just can't fit. You don't really want something hugging your fat bits as you're trying to sit down, and it's just not an overall nice experience, and you end up being left with options such as the classic office chair or what I've been using, this deck chair. So the good folks, mainly Shelley, the owner of Scan Computers, saw my predicament, saw what I was working with this deck chair, and said, right, we need to get that sorted. He sent me out this gaming chair the very next day. Obviously, I'll leave a link in the description where you can get your hands on one of these, because I believe that this is something that a lot of people will be looking for, because you're going to get that gaming aesthetic on a much larger scale, meaning that it's much more comfortable for those that are larger, and it's just going to be a bit of a win-win. So yeah, back to the story. He saw what I was dealing with and said, right, I'll get you one sent out, and in his words, I'm going to send you out an extra strong, extra wide one because you're a fat git. Don't start going at him, that's fine, that's the sort of humour that we share. And he's not wrong, I am indeed a fat git. I mean, I've lost weight, I've lost 65 pounds so far, and I'm still a fat git. Just because I've lost that weight doesn't mean I still don't have a belly, and I do struggle to fit in gaming chairs, just most chairs in general. So this was very welcome, and I was really excited to get this and get it unboxed and just sit in it and see just how it fits, because I've yet to find a gaming chair that I can fit in. So again, I know I've said this multiple times, but if you're a really tall person, if you're a really large person, if you're particularly muscular, or you're just fat like me, we're all out there. There's no shame in this channel. This is a chair for you. So if it fits my fat ass, it's going to fit your fat ass. So yeah. Now make no qualms about it, this is a £300 chair, so it's going to have a level of quality with it. And Akracing does generally bring along with it a name of quality. So what we're doing now is we're going to be unboxing this large box, and when you open it up, it's actually too big to fit in my desk. So the view is a little bit obstructed. As you can see, we get this large metal 5-pointed star, which of course is the base plate for the chair. This is what the caster's attached to and the gas lift attached to. The quality of this is phenomenal. It is a full metal construction and it does have some weight to it. It does feel really nice and sturdy, something that's really reassuring on a chair that's designed for larger folk. Next we get the rear of the seat, and this is, as you can see, quite large. It fits the entirety of the box, and it is all pretty much ready to go. Next you get the seat pan itself. Now the seat pan already has the arms attached to it, so as you can see here, you can adjust it so if you want the arms in slightly, you can just loosen these, and then you have some travel space here to move the arms inwards. And then obviously, of course, you've got these screws here, which will be to attach this whole structure to the base. As you can see, you've got those high quality elasticated straps going across, real heavy duty ones as well, so you've got an extra bit of strength. You also have that foam base and a solid steel structure. Everything is clipped and tied to this structure as well, so everything will stay nice and uniform. You then get 2 pillows. This is a lumbar support pillow. This goes to the bottom of the chair to help with your posture and lumbar support. And then this one is obviously your neck pillow. This one goes at the top of the chair so that you can have some head support. You get an assembly guide with some information of how to assemble everything into position. You do have some plastic trim, which basically finishes everything off for the finishing off the aesthetic of the build. This is that class 4 gas lift. As we mentioned earlier, it's nice and sturdy, really heavy duty, so that it should withstand some abuse, basically. And you get some white gloves to build everything with. I don't know if they'd fit my fat hands. They're a little bit small, considering it's a gaming chair for fat people or big people. It's a bit Michael Jackson-ish. You also get 5 2.5-inch all metal casters. You get some screws for mounting, and included some Allen keys, the base plate, which is what you attach to the base of a seat. Building the Akracing Core SE Series extra wide chair was super simple. What you need to do is take the seat pan, which is extra wide, as we've mentioned before. It does have that large amount of cushioning, which I'll touch upon very shortly in this video, but you need to turn this upside down, and you'll notice 4 screws that are already mounted to the chair. What you're going to need to do is remove all those 4 screws, because you need to be able to take the washers off. Make sure you put them somewhere safe and keep the washers with the screws. These are ideal because they are already in the position that you need to put them in, so that you know exactly where they're going to go when you put them back in. Position the metal mounting plate into position, hovering it over where the holes are of the screws that you've just taken out. You then simply screw them in place. Make sure you put them in nice and tight. You do have that included Allen key to be able to get you to do this as well. Now, the whole system is indeed, as I mentioned before, a full steel frame, so there's no concerns about anything splitting here. Once you've done this, you then need to turn the seat pan to the side, and then you undo the screws on the sides of the backrest of the chair. Again, in a very similar fashion, make sure you keep hold of the screws so that you can keep that washer intact on the screw. All you need to do then is line up the back of the seat with these 2 arms that come out of the base. Now, this is quite tricky because they are designed to be a compression fit also, so you're going to have to sort of really manipulate it and make sure that you've got it in position. It is a little bit tricky with one person. I would recommend maybe getting another person to help with this, to hold it into place so that you can get it screwed in. But obviously I did it on my own, and you can do it on your own. It's just a little bit tricky. But once you've got them into position, make sure they are nice and secure and tight. And you do also get 2 plastic covers which can go over these so that you can hide the exposed screws. Once they're into position, you can turn the whole seat upside down, and now you're ready to attach that gas lift and the feet of the chair. Now, the feet of a chair do need the casters attaching. All you need to do is turn the base upside down, and then you have these 5 holes at the end of each leg. Simply take the caster, push it in. It does take some force, but once you've got it in, it's nice and secure. And do that with all 5, and then you're pretty much done. So all you need to do is position it into place. Then you pop the top of the gas lift into the metal plate at the seat, and then all you need to do then is turn it upside down, and then when you sit on it, all the compression of that gas lift will allow everything to sit into place and secure it into place. Now, as I mentioned before, this is a very heavy chair, and that's pretty much the build of the chair itself. And as you can see, it looks absolutely stunning. It does carry that gaming aesthetic to it as well. Now, being a larger chair, sometimes you have to make a sacrifice and go for a larger chair that looks a little bit fuddy. And with this one, you don't have to do that. You can generally put it along any other gaming chair on the market, and it really wouldn't stand out. It doesn't look like a particularly large chair, which is something that's also quite welcome, because nobody wants a chair that sort of labels fat bugger on the back. So this is very welcome. It does have a black and red theme, which is very gamer-esque. Obviously, you can get it in different colours as well, but this one looks absolutely fantastic. Now, the black and red really sort of fits in nicely with this theme. It does feature red stitching all along the sides of the entirety of the chair, and it is a faux leather effect, but it does feel really nice and premium. Now that red stitched leather does look absolutely fantastic, and it really breaks up the shape of the chair itself. You then get some further red leather patches going along the back of the seat and on the base of the seat itself. It is a fabric seat, it's not a full leather seat, which actually is quite welcome, because a leather seat is nice, but sometimes in warmer weather or really cold weather, it can tend to sort of stick to it, and it's not very nice. So a fabric chair is definitely the way to go. The fabric feels nice and substantial, really high quality. It doesn't feel like it's going to fray over time, and it just generally feels nice to the touch, which is ideally what you want in a gaming chair, because you're going to be spending a lot of time at this chair. The fabric is also a breathable fabric, which means that if you do start to sweat in a chair and you're in a chair for a long time, it does allow the heat to dissipate throughout the chair and then helps to keep you cool. All this fabric is moulded around durable cold cured foam. Now this is ergonomically sculpted for the larger person, and it is indeed a very comfortable experience. Now what I mean by a comfortable experience in terms of ergonomically sculpted foam, that is something that you feature in a lot of chairs, but this one is extra padded. It does have that level of density to it. The seat pan is really solid, it's nice and thick, it's got plenty of foam in there. A lot of chairs on the market generally have quite a thin seat pan, and that's ideal for the ergonomics of it and the aesthetics of it. It's just not very comfortable over time, and it does wear down quite quickly, whereas this does have that thick level of foam, which I know is primarily aimed because it's seating a larger person, a larger heavier person, but it's overall a much more comfortable scenario. You do have 3D armrests on the chair as well. Now what a 3D armrest means is it's an armrest that can be manipulated to any height and position that you see fit. So if you want something that's slightly higher, you can simply press the button underneath and lift it up or down to your desired height. You can also twist the actual armrest itself so that it can flare out or flare inwards, depending on how you want to have your arms situated on the chair. Now, as I mentioned, the build quality of this chair is phenomenal. It does have a really high quality feel to it, but it is extremely heavy for a gaming chair as well. So you're going to have to take that into consideration. Once it's in the position that it's in, it's probably going to stay in that position that it's in. Now I know obviously it's got casters and wheels, you can move it along, but it's generally a nice, substantially heavy chair. Now that substantially heavy frame is super strong. It is rated to withstand up to 330 pounds in weight. Now that's more than enough for what I need and for what most people on the market would probably need. So if you're after a chair that's going to hold a substantial amount of weight, this is the one to go for. It does also feature on the back of it a backrest that can completely recline. For the sake of this video, I'm not going to be in the chair when I recline it all the way because, as you might have seen, I'm quite a large person and I do not want to be going arse over tit on video for thousands of people to see and become a instant meme. So the reclining features of this chair are the 90-degree game mode as we see here, which is pretty much standard. It does elevate you slightly forward. If you've got the cushions on this position, you are really going to be sat upright and bolt forward, ready to get the full immersive experience of your setup. You can then recline it slightly lower down. It does go through the range from 90 all the way down to 180 degrees. The 180 degree setting is called snooze mode. This means that you can lay completely flat and you're still supported. Now I have tested this on off camera and it does carry my weight even at 180 degrees. The way that the chair is designed and built, it means that everything is centered, the weight is centered at the seat pan, so even when you're leaning back, you have full security knowing that it does work very well. And it is very comfortable. It does also feature a rocking mechanism. By pushing the lever in at the bottom, it does obviously stop the rocking motion. When you've got it pulled out, you can simply rock the chair, which a lot of people do when they're in chairs, especially if you sat talking to someone, you don't really sit bolt upright perfectly still 100% of the time. You often find you do sort of maneuver yourself a little bit. So that does have that option. That same handle that you push in to stop the rocking motion is also your gas lift control. You can pull it up and down so that you can adjust the height of the chair as well. And obviously if you want to bring it down, you can bring it down as well. So that's pretty much my review of this chair. Now, what's it like to sit in? Obviously, as you can see, I'm sat in it now, and it is super comfy. Now, trying to describe this as an experience for a larger person, when it comes to being able to sit in a chair that fits nice and comfortably with extra room, gives you that same sense of satisfaction as if you was to just get your favourite meal put in front of you. It's hard to explain. It's not very often that we can find a chair that we can sit in comfortably and have room to manoeuvre and feel super secure. That's one thing that this chair does bring to the game, and that is security. It is super well built. That all steel frame does feel super substantial. Now I can move around, there's no creaks whatsoever. It doesn't feel like it's going to tip either way anywhere I sit, and it just feels a nice place to sit. That extra thick seat pan is again very welcome because you can really sort of sink yourself into it, and it is super comfortable. It does feature an extra wide seat pan, obviously naturally because it's a larger gaming chair for larger folk, but that also brings cushioned bolsters that are further apart. Now the bolsters on most gaming chairs are a thing that cause issues. If you've got a gaming chair and the bolsters of the seat pan are digging into your legs, you're going to find that after a bit of time, not only is it going to be not comfortable, it can also start to damage things like circulation in your legs, and it can actually be quite damaging in the long term. This just doesn't have that issue. These bolsters are nice and secure and comfortable. They have that level of flexibility that you require, but also they do have a level of support as well. One thing that I mentioned multiple times in this video is that the standard gaming racer chair is designed and themed around a racing bucket chair, and they are designed to sort of hug you into position, and this still does that. You still have that experience of being hugged and held into position. As you can see, it's quite a large seat. It's above my head here. I don't have the lumbar and neck pillow in place because personally I'm not a big fan of those, but obviously you can put them in. They just simply attach by the straps that you see here, and then you get this little disc and you feed the straps through to secure it into position. But the chair is designed in an ergonomic way to really sort of envelope you and hug you into position. And now, even being larger like me, it still feels nice and comfortable, but it feels quite reassuring to know that you're in safe hands. Now, I know it's difficult to sort of gauge how a chair is on a video because you can't get your hands on it, you can't sit on it, you can't feel how it feels, you can't check out the build quality and all that features, but take my word for it, as what you've seen in this video, this is a fantastic chair. It really does bring with it heaps of quality. Everything about this chair has been sat and thought about and designed from the ground up with a larger person in mind, and that is incredibly welcome. It's such a nice place to be. It's nice, it's comfortable, it's solid, it's secure. You've got loads of flexibility in terms of the reclining options and obviously the 3D armrest, so you can really lift them up, down, twist them to the side. That breathable fabric is fantastic, so that if you're sat in it for long periods, you're not going to really sort of stick to the chair. It's going to help with things like sweat and keeping you cool, which again, if you're a big gamer or you spend a lot of time in a chair, you'll know that is something that's very important. And the fact that I can fit in it is amazing. I'm not having to worry about anything, and it does actually bring a level of confidence to you, because being a larger person and not being able to fit in things, when you're sitting in a chair that doesn't really fit you, you start to feel a bit self-conscious, and you can really feel, and it does hamper your performance, especially if you're at work. It's going to make an issue of that, and you're probably just going to find it's not somewhere you want to be. Whereas this, you can feel comfortable for hours on end, doing what you need to do, and you don't have to worry about how you feel or how you look, because you know that you're fit, you know that you're strong and secure. There's going to be no issues with build quality. And also with that aesthetic, once again, you're going to fit in with everybody else. Now, I know I'm harping on a lot about that, and I believe that that's a strong selling point for a gaming chair like this, because I'm not saying that you have to be a fat person or you have to be a tall person, a muscular person, just a big person to have a chair like this. If you are a standard average size, you can obviously get this chair, there's nothing stopping you, and you'll feel a bit like you're in a throne. It's huge compared to normal gaming chairs. Now, I know there's going to be gaming chairs on the market that are very similar, and some of them might be slightly larger, and I'm hoping that further down the line I can get to take a look at all of those as well, and really sort of get a good idea of the perfect chair. Now, as far as from my experience, I've sat in many gaming chairs in my time, and I've also reviewed multiple chairs, This has been by far the best experience. It's been by far the best build quality. When it comes to assembly, it's been fantastic. Normally you have to install everything and it can be quite difficult. This already came almost pre-installed. All you had to do was reattach some screws and put them in. I would recommend doing this with 2 people. It would just make life a little bit easier, but it really ticks all the boxes for me, and it is just a nice, comfortable place to be. And it looks the part as well. I will leave a link in the description down below as to where you can get your hands on one of these. And I'd like to take a moment to say a huge thank you to Shelley for sending this over at Scan so that I can finally get rid of this thing. So I've been Gadget Joe. This has been my review of the Akracing Core SE Series Extra Wide Gaming Chair. Definitely a massive thumbs up from me. Go and have a look in the description. Check out that link and see what options are available. There's loads of different colours, and get your hands on one of these. Don't even hesitate. If you're a large person and you're looking for a chair that's comfortable, yes, I know it's slightly pricey at nearly £300, but it's going to be an investment that really pays dividends for you. It's going to give you that confidence, it's going to give you that security, and it just looks nice and you know it's going to fit. So I'm done babbling. Until next time, goodbye.